Hey guys, what's up? I'm here today with another Python tutorial. Sorry, that was really awkward. I just kind of anyway, today we'll be going over different loop types. So this is if you want to do one thing several times. So let's say we create a message which is hello world, because that's just the typical thing you do in programming. You just always seem to use hello world for everything. Oh, sorry, I actually forgot the exclamation mark. Cannot forget that, it's a very important part. Now, anyway, in Python, there are two different types of loops you can use. There is while and for loops. If you want, you can really use either for anything. You could use for or while loops. Personally, I prefer to use while loops because in the end, all for loops will actually get converted to a while loop when the program is compiled. However, some people prefer to use for loops for a lot of things. There's a lot of argument over it. It's actually ridiculous. Anyway, say we want to print the message hello world 5 times. Well, then we just create a variable called count. This is to do it with a while loop, which is just how many times it's been printed. And then while count is less than 5, do this. Print message. And then if we run that, save. That didn't work, and it's actually a never-ending thing, because I forgot one little thing, which, when people forget, it ruins the entire thing. Count equals count plus 1. Because what it'll be doing here is be going, okay, count is 0. Repeat this while count is less than 5. It will print the message. Count equals count plus 1. Okay, count equals 0 plus 1. Count equals 1. Okay, is count less than 5? Yep. Count equals 2. Is count less than 5? Yep. Count equals 3. Count equals 4. Count equals 5. Oh, count is no longer less than 5. Exit the loop. I didn't have the plus 1 there before, so it didn't work. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that. If we want to do this with a for loop, that I don't actually. You could do this with a for loop, but it would be much more complicated. For loops are useful for mostly arrays in Python, at least. So say let's get a whole bunch of messages. So messages equals we want hello. These are all the greetings, let's say. Goodbye. Whoops. How are you? 3 will do, because not really much point doing too many more. So let's say we want to print the first 2 items in the list. So then we'll go messages, square bracket, count, run it, hello, goodbye. We want to do all of them, change that to 3. Hello, goodbye, how are you? If we want to do that with a for loop, it's actually much simpler, which is why I think people like for loops. Because you do for item in messages print item. And then hello, goodbye, how are you? It's much more concise, much simpler, because how the for loop works is for each item that is inside the variable messages, do this loop. So for the first item inside messages, print item, which is the first item, hello. Then, okay, next item. Item is now goodbye. For item in messages, print item, goodbye. How are you? It repeats like that. However, you can also do it with regular strings. And also, the general thing is you do for I. That's short code. It's not short for item, it's short for index. But that's how most people do it. And if you do it for like a regular string, it'll do it for each letter. Then H, then E, then L, L, O, space. Yeah, does it for each individual letter. You could also do that with a while loop for a string. While count is less than len of message. So you can actually iterate through every item in a list without knowing the length using a while loop. Just like this. Almost. I screwed up one little bit there. I'll fix it now. That needs to be count. And then we'll go, hello world. Or if you do it for messages, hello, goodbye, how are you? Now this little purple thing here, len, is short for length. So all it does is it substitutes whatever you type in there, this bit, for the length of whatever this is, which for a string is how many characters it has, for a list is how many items are in the list. So for that it's 12, I think. And for that it's 3. So, although the for loop is shorter, and in some cases it is more efficient, it's not always better, but sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's normally personal preference on whether you use a for loop or a while loop, because either can be used in almost every situation. And there's one other thing that I'd like to say about a while loop, which is this line here. It's always needed, but when you start typing more and more programs, it gets annoying typing count equals count plus 1. There is a shorthand for this, which is count plus equals 1, which if you do plus equals rather than just equals, it means put whatever this is on the other side and plus it to whatever this is. So plus equals 1 adds 1, plus equals 2 adds 2. And it's the same with minus. Minus equals takes away 1, minus equals 2 takes away 2 every time it's run. So that's just a little shorthand that can be quite helpful. Now you can put while loops or for loops inside each other, and you can use them interchangeably inside each other. So like an example of this would be, we'll do a while loop and then a for loop inside it. So if we do every one of the messages, count equals, then we'll do for I in messages count, print I, then this will go through all of the letters. So the first loop will go, okay, this is what we want. So, it will go count equals 0. So for I in messages count, which is count the 0th item count, hello, print I. So print every letter because it's a string. And you'll go, okay, that's done. Count equals plus 1. So count is 1. Print all the letters in it. Sorry. Print all the letters in it. And yeah, it's easy as that. Or you could do for I in messages for X in I, print X. We'll actually rename these variables a bit better, just make it look a bit more obvious what's happening. So for, actually it's not a word, it's a sentence. Let's just go to item. For item in the list messages, then for letter in each item, print the letter. Then that'll do the same thing as what the while loop and for loop did. Or you could go and do count equals 0, while count is less than length of item, print item count plus equals 1. And whoopsie, I pushed enter a bit too early. And that does the exact same thing again. That's with the for loop and while loop the other way around. Except for this one, the count needs to be set to 0 for every item. So you need to set to 0 a few more times. Or 2 while loops, you can do while counter. I always go for counter for my second variable, I don't know why. Is less than length of messages. Do this. Counter equals 0. Counter plus equals 1. Oh, I keep pushing enter too early. Item. Oh, yes. So instead of length of item, it would be length of messages, square bracket, counter. And then this would be messages, square bracket, counter, square bracket, count. As you can tell, 2 while loops inside each other begins to get a little bit more complicated than with the for loops. Well, a little bit. For item. Well, in this case, those two do the exact same thing. The top one is a lot longer and a lot more complicated, but when you get into more advanced programming, you'll learn that pretty much everything can be done. Everything that can be done in a for loop can be done in a while loop, but not everything that can be done in a while loop can be done in a for loop. So yeah, that is the basics of for and while loops. I just want to quickly say at the end of this, I will be starting Java tutorials shortly. I'm planning to do one shortly after this one, because I'm not the best at Python anymore. I used to be very good at Python, because it used to be the only language I used, but now I use a lot of Java and a lot of things, and I'm working on a few Java projects, so I am a lot better at Java at the moment, just because I know the syntax a lot better. I'm used to it now. It's pretty much all I use. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.